Welcome to the Marley Bird YouTube channel. In this video, I will show you how to make the one ball shawl project. This is a quick crochet project that is perfect for those last minute gifts or that last minute accessory you want to make for yourself before you head out to your son's football game or basketball game or daughter's soccer game or cheerleading competition or whatever it may be. This is a great one ball project for you to grab your hook and that random skein of yarn you have on the shelf and get started. I use Red Heart's Roll With It tweed for this project, and it has 296 yards. I also used a size I crochet hook, and you will need a stitch marker just because in the instructions I did indicate where you use a stitch marker to easily identify that center stitch on the V of the shawl. The body of this shawl is made up in filet crochet. Super easy. You just do double crochets and chains. Then we add a cute, simple edging all around the piece and seam it together so that way you get a really cool sort of bandana shawl. Speaking of bandana shawl, I'm wearing a bandana shawl that was designed by my friend Tamara Kelly. I have a video for how to make this shawl right here on the Marley Bird YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the video description box below, along with the free pattern for this shawl and the one we will be making in today's video. So without further ado, go ahead, grab your hook, your yarn. Let's get started on this really easy shawl pattern. As I mentioned, I will be using Roll With It tweed, and this yarn, I've already pulled out the center so I can start, has a really long color change happening here. So as I work the body of my shawl, I'm gonna get all of these really great color changes. If I wanted to use Roll With It melange instead, I could get a more marled look of my stitches, but I'm gonna use the Roll With It tweed to start here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to grab the yarn itself. We'll use our marker here in a second. And I will begin with my slip knot on my hook. So I'm gonna get that slip knot right there on my hook. And I start off by chaining 4. So I will chain 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the 4th chain from hook, or in other terms, we're going to skip 3 chains, and in this 4th one, we will begin to build the body of our shawl. So I will yarn over my hook, go into that 4th chain, and work 1 double crochet. And I want to make a note that this initial skipped 3 chains right here counts as a double crochet, and that's very important. So I did a double, I will chain 1, do a double into that same chain, chain 1, another double into that same chain. I'm going to pause here for a second because this is where my stitch marker comes into play. I want to place my stitch marker directly into that V right behind the loop on my hook, okay? So I've placed my stitch marker. Now I chain 1, double crochet. All of this is in the same chain space, you guys. Chain 1, and then 2 double crochet into that space. All right, so that is our row 1, and that is our setup row, okay? So we've set up all the stitches. If we look at this and think through, what we've done here is we have 2 double crochets that are side by side. That is the edge of our shawl. We have 2 double crochets side by side over here. That's the opposite edge of our shawl. Then we have 1 double crochet at the center, 1 double crochet along the right side, 1 double crochet along the left side, and each one of those are separated by a chain 1. As we continue on to row 2, that is the row we will repeat for the entire body of the shawl. And we will be placing double crochets in each of the double crochets we just made. And in that center marked double crochet, we will be placing a series of double crochets there. to keep the shawl increasing at the center, okay? So we will keep the increases on the outside with those 2 double crochets on the outsides, and then increasing right down the center. So let's do row 2, okay? We will go ahead and turn our work. And I start off with my chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Again, that counts as a double crochet, don't forget. So I will yarn over my hook, and I'm going to go into that same first stitch right there. And that will place my 2 double crochet right here at the beginning of my shawl. Now I jump into the pattern. So I chain 1. I do a double crochet in the next double crochet. Chain 1. Do a double crochet in the next double crochet. And now I'm to my center here, so I would chain 1. I'm to the marked center stitch, and so in this stitch right here, I will do a double, chain 1, a double, chain 1, and a double. Okay, so if you're looking at the written pattern, you will notice that in the parentheses, it says to do a chain 1, double crochet 3 times. So there's chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. All of that is in that center stitch. Now I want to move my marker, so I'm going to undo it. I will place it into the center double crochet I just made. And carry on with the pattern. So I chain 1, double crochet in the next double, chain 1, double crochet in the next double, chain 1, and now I will put 2 double crochet into the 3rd chain of my turning chain here, because this is the edge, right? We always start with the 2 doubles and end with 2 doubles. And at the start, our chain 3 counts as one of those 2 doubles. Okay, so if I set this down, we have 2 doubles, chain 1 double, 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 all in the center stitch, chain 1 double into that double, chain 1 double into that double, chain 1, and then 2 doubles in the end. You see that? Let's do another row. So we're just going to repeat row 2. So I will turn my work, chain 3, that counts as a double. Place my first double right here into this first space. Let me adjust my yarn. Chain 1, and now I'm going to do that chain 1 double all the way down to my marked stitch. So I've chained 1, put a double into that double, chain 1, put a double into the next double, chain 1, double into the next. Got to get more yarn here. Chain 1, double into the next, chain 1, and then this is my repeat, okay? So I'm going to move my marker because I will be moving it. I'm putting it right here in this center here. So that was my first chain 1. Here's my first double. Remember, I have to do that 3 times. So that was 1, 2, 3. Okay? Don't forget to move your marker to the center. Okay, it's just right there. It's that V right there at the center. Can you see it? Now I continue on. I chain 1, double in the next double, chain 1, double in the next double, chain 1, double in the next double, chain 1. Let me get some more yarn. Double in the next double, chain 1, and now I will put 2 double crochets into the 3rd chain of this turning chain. So I'm just going right into the chain. I'm not going into the space. I'm going to go right into the chain there. Okay? So there's 1 and 2. You see that? So every time we do a row, we're increasing 1 stitch here, 1 stitch here, and 2 stitches right there. Let's do one more row just to make sure you have it, okay? I'm going to just work through this row and see if you can work through with me. So I've chained 3, do a double in the first, and here we go. I'm going to do a chain 1 double all the way down to the marked stitch. So I start with my chain 1, and just make sure you're putting a double crochet into each one of those doubles. And all of them are separated with that chain 1. I'm down here to my marked stitch, so I chain 1, double into the marked stitch, chain 1, double into that marked stitch, chain 1, double into that marked stitch. Move your marker. I'm telling you guys, this shawl is so fast. And once you get going and the colors really start to change on you, it's exciting. You can't wait to see what the next color will bring. So I've chained 1 and I continue on. And there we go. You see how that's working up? So that's several rows of the pattern, and you just keep working this pattern just like that, okay? You keep repeating until this center portion from this point down measures about 18 inches, okay? And that's 18 inches on the sample that we made. If you want to make yours a little bit longer, you totally could do that. It'll just take more yarn than what's in the Roll With It tweed, which is what we use for the sample. But if you wanted to use more yarn and just keep this going for oodles and oodles and oodles amount of time, you totally could do that. That's totally fine. Just keep repeating row 2. When you get your shawl to the point that you want it to be completed though, that's when you will move on to the edging. So let me show you how to do the edging now. Okay, let's work this edging together. This was Caitlin's addition to this shawl. So we will turn our work and chain 2, and this does not count as a stitch. Now we will double crochet 3 together the first 3 stitches, and that includes the chain 1 there, okay? So I will yarn over my hook, go into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Yarn over my hook, go into the next stitch, yarn over my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over my hook, draw through 2. Yarn over my hook, go into the next, I'm going to go into that chain 1 space, yarn over my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over my hook, draw through 2. So I have partially completed double crochets into 3 stitches. I have 4 loops on my hook, so I yarn over and draw through all 4 loops. Now I chain 3, And I do that again, double crochet 3 together over the next 3 stitches. So I have a stitch here, so I will insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Yarn over my hook, go into that chain 1 space, yarn over my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over my hook, draw through 2. Yarn over my hook, go into the double crochet, yarn over my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over my hook, draw through 2. I have 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, draw through all 4 loops, okay? So I'm supposed to do this all the way down to this corner. So let's continue on. So I will chain 3 and work a double crochet 3 together. So this one I start off with the space. So I will go into the space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Yarn over my hook, go into the double, yarn over my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over my hook, draw through 2. Yarn over my hook, go into the space, yarn over my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over my hook, draw through 2. I have 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, draw through all 4. When you get down to where your marked stitch is, this is where I've yarned over my hook, go into the double, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Yarn over, go into the space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Yarn over my hook, go into the marked stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, draw through all 4. Okay, so I've just placed that last leg of the double crochet 3 together into that marked stitch. Now I chain 5, and when I start this next double crochet 3 together, I'm going to start in the same marked stitch. So I yarn over, go into the same marked stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Yarn over, go into that chain 1 space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Yarn over, go into the next double, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. I have 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, draw through all 4. Can you see that? Okay, so I'm going to do this all the way down and finish off right down here. So I will do my chain 3. Go into the space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, go into the double, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, go into the space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, draw through 2, 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, draw through all 4. 1, 2, 3 chains, and repeat. Don't forget down here at the end, that chain 3 that we started with on the previous row counted as a stitch. So you end with your double crochet 3 together. Can you see that? That completes row 1 of the edging. Now we have a second row where we will place stitches in those chain 3 spaces. So we start off by turning our work, and we will do a chain 1, and then into this chain 3 space here, we will do 2 singles. So I will do 1 and 2, chain 3, and then do 2 more singles. So there's 1 and 2. You see that? See how I kind of get that really cute sort of picot right there? Let's do that again. I'm going to come over here to this chain 3 space. I do 2 singles. So there's 1 and 2, chain 3. My yarn is caught here. Get some more yarn. And then let's see, did I do a chain 3? 1, 2, 3. And then I do 2 more singles into that same space. So there's 1 and 2. Come to the next one. We will do this all the way down until we get to the chain 5, which is down here at the center. So 2 singles, chain 3, 2 singles into each of the chain 3 spaces. I love this little picot it creates. See how cute that is? Super simple. There's 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3. And then 2 singles. So there's 1 and 2. Let's get down to the center here. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2. So I'm down here at the chain 5. And so in this one, I will do 1, 2, 3. And then chain 3, and then do 3 more singles. So I did 3 singles, chain 3, and then 3 singles, all into that chain 5 space. You see that? And now I've got to come up this side of my shawl, and so I go back to my two singles. Get more yarn here. Chain 3, and then 2 singles. So there's 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3 chains, 1 and 2. When you come up to the end of the row, we will finish off by slip stitching into that very first stitch we have right down here. So I'm just gonna come down here to the edge and just finish with a slip stitch. Now I've noticed in my yarn here I have a knot, and I think this is a good point to make. If you come up to a knot in your yarn, you do want to cut it out. You do not want to crochet over a knot, so cut that knot out and just get rid of it. Now luckily I'm at the end of my row and I've cut my yarn, but we're not supposed to cut our yarn. We're supposed to position our work and then crochet around the top to create the bandana type look. So I'm still going to do that, although I will join my yarn right down here where I did the slip stitch. I'm actually going to undo that slip stitch and then just rejoin my yarn down there, so that way I can carry on with the new yarn without the knot in it, and I'll just weave those ends in later. Okay, so here we are, we joined with our slip stitch, and it's time to do the joining. Okay, now you have a super cute shawl, but we're not done yet. You'll notice, as I mentioned, that you're not supposed to cut your yarn, and that's because we are going to fold the sides of the shawl in and single crochet them together so that we can create this nice bandana type cowl shawl piece. So let me show you how to do that. You want to take your piece and lay it down with the right side facing down. You might be asking which is the right side. Well, the side you just finished with those picots, that's your right side, okay? Because that's the public side of those picot stitches. So you want to lay that down, all right? And what we are going to do, now you have to use your imagination here because obviously your shawl is going to be larger than this one. But we are going to take this side of the shawl and this side of the shawl and fold them in and overlap them. So let me remove this just so we can do this. So I'm going to fold this one in just like so, and then take this one and fold it in just like so. And see how that makes the fabric overlap down here? And up here, we have the part of the fabric that's overlapping there. What we want to do now is we'll take this yarn that's still attached and we will crochet through both layers of the fabric at this point, and then single crochet around all the top of this portion until we come back and we'll join with a slip stitch. And that will join all of this together and create a really cute shawl piece, okay? So let's go ahead and get that part done. Of course, my little piece here is super tiny. Yours is going to be larger, and you want them to overlap about 6 inches. Could you do more? Absolutely, if that's what you want to. Do you have to do this part? No. Do you want to maybe add a button instead of overlapping and single crocheting around the top? You could do that. You could do anything you want. It's totally up to you. But this is how we designed this piece, we being Caitlin and myself. So let's do the next part together. Okay, so I'm going to put this loop back on my hook, tighten that up, and just going through both layers of fabric. I'm going to go through this one and just pick a point on the opposite layer to stick my hook into. And I will yarn over, pull up a loop, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch to start. Chain 1, and now I will jump in to my singles. So I'm just going to go around, just like you would if you were doing like a pot holder, like a double-sided pot holder. I'm going through both fabrics. Can you see that? And I'm just single crocheting. And when I get to the point where the fabric is not overlapping anymore, then I will just go through one layer of fabric. So when I come here, I just carry around with my singles. And you just want to make sure they're just evenly spaced so it's not too snug. All right, pretty simple stuff. I'm just going around here. I'm going to get back here to the start, and I will join with a slip stitch. And now you can see here, there's the top. Can you see that? So I joined with the slip stitch. I'm going to go ahead and finish off. So I like to chain 1, cut my yarn. I always leave at least 4 to 6 inches so I can weave it in. Well, let's take a peek here. If you're looking at the top here, you can see they're joined together. The pieces are joined together there. And that's how that would look. So then the front of my shawl looks just like that. You see that? Okay. Pretty simple, not too hard. I like it. I love these little picot edges. I love the finishing touches of this shawl. I think it makes it look just that little bit of something extra. So the next time you need a quick gift or you need a quick accessory to wear out this afternoon or this weekend, you have another little project you can make using just one ball of yarn. And it doesn't have to be roll with it tweed. It could be Colorscapes, roll with it melange. It could be latte cakes. It could be Karen cakes. It could be literally just about anything. It doesn't even have to be something that's a multicolored yarn. It could be a solid if that's what you want to do. Just use this pattern, adjust the hook the way you need it, make the body as long as you want it, slap on that edging, join it together, don't join it together, it doesn't really matter. You're gonna have a cute little sample. Okay, so this was a quick one ball shawl project. I hope this was helpful to you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye guys. Hey, thanks for joining me today on the channel. If you want more videos just like that one, check out some of these other videos that I've already handpicked for you. And don't forget to hit subscribe so that way you're up to date whenever I release a new video. And don't forget, smash that like button, as my kids say. Bye guys.